Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of Time to Roll. I am your host, Katriana Ray, and today we're going to be talking about the power of the table. Now, as we mentioned a little bit last time, and if you missed episode 1, don't worry, I'll link it in our article that's going to be linked below after everything is done. We discussed the power of the table and how that can form friendships that last a lifetime, whether it is starting as a DM and being able to see all the different sides of your friends or meeting new people at tables that you've never been to. Last week, I spoke to representatives from Mott Community College and Gloria Cole's Flint Public Library to talk about their partnership, about their Dungeons and Dragons, fun games with their kids and teens. Now, these aren't just tables that happen once and then they go away forever. These are lasting campaigns that last all summer long. It starts in June, and some of their last sessions are actually wrapping up this week. However, once the school year starts, everyone is invited, from kids meeting up at least once a month to teens meeting up usually weekly, and even college kids in their Dungeons and Dragons clubs at Mott Community College. They all get together and play at the table. Also, in September, they're even going to be able to learn how to be dungeon masters themselves with Dungeon Master classes 101 and 102 for those more advanced players. Now, I'm going to show you this interview, and it was an absolute pleasure to speak with them. And if you have any comments or questions for them, you can put them in the comments below, and I'll make sure to get them to them. So I hope you enjoy episode 2 of Time to Roll. Thank you both so much for joining me for Time to Roll today. Amanda and Robert, it's great to get to yapping with you guys. We're going to talk about one of my favorite things, and one of your guys' favorite things too, is Dungeons and Dragons. So I guess the first question for you both is, tell me a little bit about your experiences with Dungeons & Dragons.
I can start probably because I have the least. I have played exactly one campaign before this of Dungeons & Dragons actual, but have some tabletop experience with other friends playing just lots of different campaigns with them, so that was really fun.
My start was I just wanted to play one day, saw Critical Role playing for the first time on Twitch, and played in a one-shot with my brother, and from there just kind of kept interest and developed a friend group and started playing online.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
And as I guess you mentioned with your different tabletop experiences, and you mentioned with your friend group, it's based around friends and making friends with people you might not know originally, right? And I guess that brings us to today's topic, which is the, D&D with Kids club that you have at Mott Community College and that you help, advise. So tell me a little bit about that. How did it start? What's the goal, etc.?
Yeah, so the club at Mott just started with a student that was interested and said that they wanted to start a club, and our student life organization that runs the clubs on campus reached out and said, hey, there's a student, would you be interested in being the advisor? And then just helped him get the club established, recruit club officers and other students that then could start their own campaigns, and it grew from there.
And I can't even remember at the library how it got started. I think you guys had reached out, and then we had a meeting that was maybe 15 minutes long, and so we're going to do it. Yeah. We'll figure it out as we go, and I think that's kind of how we've been doing it since. And so this is our second year at the library, and it's been incredible. We just added kids this year, and on top of teens. So, but it's been absolutely wonderful. And obviously, we put up the poster and we tell people about it, and there's a huge amount of interest.
I guess the question is, well, why Dungeons and Dragons? I mean, there's a lot of different, other games to play. You guys can draw as a group, or all hang out and play video games. But why D&D?
I think from a library perspective, right, it's group storytelling, right? And that's the huge part of what we want to do is introduce kids to storytelling through as many avenues as we possibly can. So we have an acting class that we just started too, but Dungeons and Dragons is super easy, and it's kind of capitalizing, I think, a lot off of Stranger Things popularity too, right? Where it's I know the teens know about it now, but it is one of those things that's kind of hard to get into if you don't know somebody and you're just trying to look out. So we were trying to provide that opportunity.
And same thing at Mott College, it was a great way for students to connect to each other socially and build friend groups. And, we have a lot of events that were hosted around the D&D club. And it's such an avenue for creativity and growing those social skills and critical thinking. So,
as you guys mentioned, like there's kids and there's teens. I guess it boils down to how's their campaigns going. I mean,
they're a little wacko. It's okay, but like I think that I need to remind. So I spend a lot of time watching, and I'm like, why aren't you guys doing what you're supposed to do? I know what you're supposed to do, but then I realize that like also when I play, we don't do what we're supposed to do. Yeah. That's not how the game works. So I think they're doing great, and every time like even if it's like, oh, I wish they had gotten a little bit farther, like every time everybody leaves smiling, everybody's very happy. So like that's been the most important part. So in terms of happiness, everybody's doing a great job. It's going wonderful, and up to lots of silly hijinks. So.
Yep, there's always a lot of chaos, but it's so much fun just watching them engage with each other, and like Robert said, the excitement that they have at the end of the session.
I feel like that's how it boils down to in general, like all tabletop games, just chaos. You can play for 50 years and still be like, I'm going to be a little silly today. I guess my question is, what is the silliest tabletop experiences you guys have had?
Oh, I know. Silliest.
I can always start if you need a great example.
Absolutely.
Basically, every campaign is almost always derailed by someone. I don't know who. I would have no idea who would derail every campaign. I have issues waiting for people making battle strategies, so every time there's a big battle, people will be like, okay, we need to go around the fort on this end, go around on this end, we'll pinch them, and I go, I got a big sword. Watch this. And that's the famous last words of, watch this, guys, or it's going to be so cool, and then I rolled a nat 1, and then it's all over.
I think, I'm trying to, one of my favorite parts is just naming my character, so I am very proud of my recent creation of a crab person named Rangoon, so he's Crab Rangoon. And I think that's just like one of my favorite parts is just the like silly creativity of being able to put together almost whatever you want.
Yeah, I think it's doing the unexpected. We had most recently a DM had a whole encounter built around this troll that was supposed to attack our group, and he was climbing out of this well, and our character, or one of our players, rolled to shove the troll back into the well, which then killed the troll, which ended the encounter like immediately. So
it was the quickest solution, I think, to the problem.
Yep.
I love character group building because usually, at least how I build my groups or my friends build their groups, it's never like, okay, we're going to discuss this. You're going to be the fighter. You're going to be the warlock. It's going to be so even and built and balanced, and it's great. It's similar to the Crab Rangoon Man. Some people build really silly and then they have the dramatic character moments. Other times it's the most dramatic character, like my fish guy drinks out of a Mott bucket because it's the only water in a desert.
Wow.
He's just a little fish guy.
Just a little guy.
He's dragging his bucket through the desert.
It's the only bucket he can find. I guess with these groups that these kids make, is it similar? Is it similar to, like, the chaotic adulthood that we see now? Or I guess even college kids, what kind of groups do they make? What kind of dramatic choices do they have to make?
I feel like, they go with what, so like a lot of the people that we have that are like really regular came early on, and so they got to make their own characters, so they like definitely did whatever they wanted. And so it's also fun because it's like they don't know each other. A lot of them don't know each other, so like they can't even plan to like be strategic and like building how they want to do it. So I think they've had a lot of fun with it, and then it's like just that extra element of chaos of trying to figure out how all these people work together.
Yeah, especially at the college level, I feel like a lot of the students put a lot of time and thought into their characters, so they always have like a very specific aesthetic, and that's what I enjoy seeing is the descriptions, the backstory behind each of these characters that they've created. So.
So fun. Yeah. With these groups, I know that these are campaigns, but it's going to wrap up, I think, at the end of July, correct? Yeah. What do they just kind of end there, or is it hold on, we'll pin this, and then next year we'll do the same campaign?
So that is kind of how it happened. So this is our second year having done the campaign, and Shane Fox was the president of the club that had the idea of some of the students returned from the first year. So he started the campaign a little differently, so it didn't feel like they were running the exact same campaign over again, to give them that new experience of maybe starting the campaign a little later into the story than they got. So
Exciting.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think we had a couple people return from last year with their character sheets. They had held on to, teenagers had held on to a piece of paper from one summer to the next. I was like, well, okay. So they brought back their characters, and I thought that was really fun. But then we've also had people return that made new characters and stuff like that. So even if they're doing a similar encounter, they get to do it in a new way. So
Yeah.
Have you guys seen with your experiences, either with, I guess, college students or with teens or kids, how has Dungeons and Dragons affected them?
I think from the student perspective, at a college level, it really builds a foundation that connects them to the college. They have somewhere to go, somewhere to interact with people of their peers. So I like seeing that. It, makes them feel like the campus is where they belong, rather than just going to class and then going right home. So.
yeah, and I think it's similar for us, where it's like you get that like peer-to-peer connection that's like outside of an environment that they're not with their parents, they're not at school, and they're just interacting with like other people. And what's been really interesting is because I think we had originally kind of planned to separate the kids and the teens, but they've all kind of like intermingled together and just kind of found a balance that works for them. So that's been really fun, and I think it's really also cool for them to like interact with like the adults that we have coming from Mott, right? Like that's new adults that like, again, it's not a parental relationship or like that kind of like strict, so they get to form those new relationships. And for a lot of our homeschool families too, I think it's good that they like are out in a social environment. So it's been a lot of fun.
What has tabletop games done for you guys?
I guess a big thing for me is like it has been a deeper connection because I only started playing because my friends were playing, and so I was like, I guess I'll join. I have no idea how to do that. I like had to get over like, do I have to do silly voices? And so I leaned into that, and like I think every character I make is like partially me, so it's like kind of like a fun exploration of like all the sillier parts of myself.
Yeah, exactly. You get to explore different sides of yourself. I have a campaign that meets every month at my house with my friends, so that gives us an excuse. Without D&D sessions or planned D&D sessions, we might not see each other maybe 6 months at a time. And now we meet consistently every month to a month and a half and get to hang out.
I feel like that's incredibly hard to do, I guess, as adults, because we have job, we have responsibility, we have that structure that, I guess, Dungeons and Dragons lets us let go for that time. You mentioned your characters are similar to you, and I agree, all my characters have a little sliver of me in them, and I don't know how you feel about it, but it's probably the same for you.
Yeah.
Because we make them, so they're kind of our own little creations. So what does your crab rangoon man have similar to you?
He is like a caricature. Because whenever I'm out, there's a certain kind of like, I don't know. Older men like to talk to me. I don't know why, and so like I put all of any energy that I thought was like attracting these people, and I was like, that is what Ron Goon is going to be.
And has he lived up to that vision?
Yes,
that you have?
he is a divorced dad of 3 girls, and so I love him. He's like kind of a brand new character for me too, because like it's just not in the vein that I normally would go for, but it's been a lot of fun.
What about your turtle paladin?
So so with the Tortle Paladin taking the Oath of the Ancients, a big part of that is finding joy where you are. And so that is kind of the thing that I love to channel, because we have responsibilities outside of it. So a lot of times it's hard to stay in the present moment. And so with this Tortle character, like everywhere that she goes, it's a party. Like she wants to just have fun and bring joy to the different areas that she's in. So
I feel like that's so rare for paladins, and I guess those knightly characters too, because they're so, I guess, bogged down by responsibility.
Yep.
Always, to the point where they look at a god or a stronger creature and go, I'll be your champion.
Yep.
Smiley face, heart eyes. It's Dungeons and Dragons is so fun. I love yapping about the tabletop. I would ask you guys everything about your campaigns, but I think we'd literally be here for like 6 hours. So I guess the only question about them is, what has been your favorite part of both of them so far?
I'm trying to think.
That's a hard
Mine was the situation with the troll, because it was literally the typical start of a campaign where you start in a tavern and then a fight breaks out and we're ready and this troll just climbs out of the well and then one of the players just goes boop, nope, and the DM was like okay, and then like takes the pages that he had planned and sets that aside and was like, let's go, I didn't have anything else planned but we're gonna figure it out. So
I think in my personal campaign, it has been like we had spent so much time sailing towards an island. That was our big thing, and essentially we've ended up in Jurassic Park then. But so there were dinosaurs, right? And like so I always like if there's a creature in front of me, we're gonna try and tame it. That's
Of
all.
course.
So I had to try and tame I can't even remember.
Like a velociraptor?
No, not like the big long neck. Brontosaurus.
Man. Yeah, I just call them long neck guys.
Yeah, the long neck guy. So like just trying to tame that, but like, and coming so close, but I didn't get it. But we are on friendly terms. The dinosaurs no longer think we're a threat, so they're just kind of like.
If you just go and tame all of them, then you'll. Well, how are you gonna fit them on the boat? That's okay. That's a
true.
later problem.
Yeah, that is a later problem.
You can just get
we can say goodbye.
No. I want you to keep the dinosaurs.
Huge dinosaur raft.
I love it so much. I guess we get back down to the nitty gritty of these different clubs, whether at Mott or whether at the library. So, are you guys planning on doing this again, this partnership in the future?
100%.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is we're kind of extending it this year. In October, we're going to be bringing like Dungeon Master 101 and 102 to the library for the teens and tweens, so that they can either help us out at the library or bring it to their friend group at school throughout the year. And then we're going to continue with the kids, so just that 8 to 12 range throughout the summer, or throughout the school year. So, and then we'll be back next summer.
Exciting. Are you planning for the Dungeons and Dragons Club at Mott?
Yeah, absolutely. So after we finish the summer campaign, our goal is to have like a recap session and talk about what went well, what we could potentially change to make it better next year. And then, the club is committed to coming back a third year to helping with the DM 101 and 102 sessions and making sure that we have enough volunteers for the next year. So.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for coming and talking with me today about Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop and Crab Rangoon. This has been an absolute treat. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
You.
And we're back. One day I'll learn how to use this system fully properly. This is the second time I've used it. And then one day I'm going to be an expert and no one will see it coming. But talking with the two of them was fantastic. I think we spoke for another, an hour and a half, just talking about DMing, talking about playing our respective games and how all these kids and teens and college students all interacted with each other. It was fantastic. I wish them luck in finishing up their campaigns and the start of their new ones. And maybe I will give that Dungeon Master 101 and 102 a try in October. I'm actually starting up one of my next campaigns, I think next weekend. Time flies. I was thinking it was a month away. It turns out it's like 7 days away. I should probably get to writing that, I think. But this is an exciting week for Tabletop, not only with the conclusion of their campaigns, but also Critical Role is releasing their next animated series, Mighty Nine. It's the next campaign that they did, and they are announced the, conclusion, the final season of their first of many, many shows that they're talking about creating, and that comes out next year. And I'm so excited for everything. I know Gen Con either just happened or it's going to be happening soon. This is just an exciting time to get into tabletop. So if you haven't given it a try and you want to get into Dungeons and Dragons or Call of Cthulhu or Blades in the Dark or any of the, as I mentioned last weekend, like 900 tabletops out there, this is a great time to try. And if you have any questions, obviously feel free to message Mid-Michigan Now, and I'll be able to get back with you on either how to start your own game or how to make your characters or just overall anything to do with tabletop. I love talking about it, as you guys saw from this video. So thank you so much for joining me for Time to Roll Episode 2, The Power of the Table. And I hope this inspires you to go out, seek out your friends, your coworkers, your family, your kids who just want to play video games all day, you can show them this type of game, and instead of playing the paladin on screen, you can actually become the paladin. I again am your host, Katriana Ray. Thank you so much for spending some time with me, and yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great weekend and a great, I guess, game session if you're planning on playing tabletop, or have a great night, and I'll catch you next month. See ya.